Before we start getting character announcements for Bleach Rebirth of Souls, it's time to lock your predictions in. Who is going to be playable in this new Bleach game? We don't even know how many characters will be in the roster, so this is going to be a wild guess. But one thing we know for sure is that the game covers Bleach from the start until the end of the Arrancar arc, and that's a lot. That does leave out 1000-Year Blood War and of course the Fullbringer arcs, but still that's a lot of characters. We're going to go through Ichigo becoming a substitute Shinigami, infiltrating Soul Society to save Rukia, going into Hueco Mundo all the way to dyeing his hair black and taking down Aizen. The roster possibilities are incredible, so unless this is a Sparking Zero situation where the roster is massive, some cuts will have to be made. Now, in order to have an idea of how many characters we should expect, I had to take a look at the most popular Bleach games of the past, namely Soul Resurrection, Blade Battlers 2, Dark Souls, and Heat the Soul 7. On the low end, Soul Resurrection had 19 playable characters, and on the high end, Heat the Soul has 63 characters with DLC included. So I think the number of playable characters is gonna be somewhere in between, and so today, I'm gonna give you a 20 character roster, a 35 character roster, and a massive 65 character roster. Think of this as 3 different possibilities, or even a priority order for characters to make it, almost like a tier list. And of course, I had to put it together with the help of my chat on stream. Okay, so what I've done here is look at 4 different series of past Bleach games and cross-reference them. And what I discovered is that we have a lot of characters that are present in all 4 of these games. But we also have characters that are only present in 3 and characters that are only present in 2 of those games. So that's the order we're going to be adding characters in, because many games in the past have actually covered these same arcs. I think that's a great starting point. That said, I think we should start with the confirmed characters and then add some of the people that we saw in the trailer. The only characters confirmed so far, according to the website, are Ichigo and Rukia. Now, I would actually go into the trailer and confirm a couple of more. I don't think every character that shows up in the trailer is playable necessarily. A big elephant in the room by the time we get there might be Kon. There's also other characters like the Grand Fisher. And you go, Glob, that's just a holo that you put in the trailer to beat in story mode. Nah, you know where Grand Fisher was also playable? In Bleach Dark Souls. So this character has been playable in the past. And we're gonna start with a big one because Renji has also been present in like screenshots and whatnot. I think there's a very, very low chance that this guy's not playable. Ishida also showed up as a playable character in the trailer, or looks like to be a playable character. Nothing's confirmed, obviously, but that seems like a pretty safe guess. Another character that even got their name popped out was Byakuya?
Senbon Sakura Kageyoshi.
Sato also had a name pop up and everything. Like, oh, Sato, Chad, Sato, they don't know what to call him anymore. I think Yoruichi also had her name pop up. I'm gonna put her here though. I don't think Urahara got his name, right? But he showed up in the trailer. Now, Urahara is not a character I would put up here. Normally put him down here. I don't think he's part of that core group above. He's a part of like a slightly extended roster. But because he showed up in the trailer, you kind of have to give him preference. And I guess it's time to add this character. Now, Orihime. Definitely playable, right? But the thing is, the trailer didn't even like give her a highlight or gameplay. They just showed her in a cutscene. So it's hard to fully confirm her right now, but I think she definitely belongs on that top group. If the roster is as small as this, I think she's going to be playable. Now, this trailer only has a few characters left. Actually, 4 characters left in this trailer. Those are Kon, the Grand Fisher, Masked Ichigo, and Zangetsu, aka the White Ichigo. Now, White Ichigo showing up at the end, I think is a very clear indicator that he will be playable. He has been playable in a lot of different Bleach games in the past too. In Blade Battlers 2, which I remember very clearly. Blade of Fate, which was the prequel to Dark Souls. For some reason they cut him out, even though Dark Souls blew up the roster. It's been playable in Heat the Soul since 3 all the way to 7, and obviously also Soul Resurrection, and we don't even count Brave Souls because every character's been in Brave Souls. I'm not kidding. Now, what about Mask Ichigo? What happens here? I think this game is gonna have this Ichigo go from base form into Bankai, maybe into this. The one thing we know about this game so far is that the further behind you are in battle, the faster you can turn things around with a single hit. I think that's like their gameplay concept. And that could really work into transformations or Bankais or power-ups, where the lower health you have, the bigger the power-up you can have. And Ichigo could be one of those characters with with 3 power-ups. The same way that Byakuya here, for instance, could probably just start with a sword, go for his Shikai, go for his Bankai. So like 3 transformations per character isn't ridiculous to think in a Bleach game. It could also just be an ultimate attack. So I don't think Masked Ichigo is actually going to be playable. I'm going to leave him out of this. As for Kon and the Grand Fisher, these 2 characters, I think the Grand Fisher, maybe if the roster is just absolutely gigantic, but we're not there yet. Kon, on the other hand, I think so. If the roster is at least this big. You might be thinking, oh, Kon is a joke character, and you're right. But he's a joke character that a lot of Bleach games have done in the past, bro. Kon has been in both Bleach Blade Battlers, Blade of Faith, Dark Souls, Third Phantom, and that is it. That is it for trailer characters. There are no more trailer characters. Now, you guys know that I pulled characters from a lot of different games. And I have cross-referenced those characters, the different rosters, to see who shows up in multiple different games. And my results speak of a full category of characters that show up in all the 4 different game series that I analyzed. Not a lot of characters here, but all 4 games, that gives you a pretty good chance of showing up. Soifong. I actually don't think Soifong is guaranteed for a 20 character roster. I think she's gonna be like a 35 character for sure, like she's a lock-in, but for a 24 character roster, she might not make it. Kyoraku, I believe that's his name, Pedals guy, he has been playable in pretty much everything. So, I mean, so has Soifong, but I'm snubbing Soifong. Kenpachi is 100% making it. He's one of the most popular captains in Bleach. So is Hitsugaya. And Gin surprised me. I didn't think Gin was going to be here, but alas, there he is. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Aizen is going to make it. If the roster was only 20 characters big, I think we're kind of done adding captains. Maybe. You gotta have enough space here for a few of Hueco Mundo characters. Let's see what happens when we go to the 3 games. What characters were present in 3 game series that I analyzed? Ulquiorra. Alright, so we have our first Arrancar, the first Espada. I think there are 2 Espada that definitely make it. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip the next captain here as I add both Ulquiorra and Grimcho to the roster. Both of these guys have to make it. If the tale is gonna be told from the start of Bleach to the end of Arrancar, those 2 Espada are mandatory. Not sure if Kyoraku is guaranteed in a small roster. I'm starting to feel it. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Kyoraku should not be here. Maybe Gin either. But let's get through it. Let's see what happens. Let's see who takes their place. Ukitake. I don't think so, bro. Tozen. I want him so bad. But I don't know, bro. Shuhei, no, for sure. Like, he's a 35 or less. But what about Sajin? What about Mr. Puppy Captain? What do we do with him? You think Sajin is on 35 characters? Okay. No, I respect that. Rangiku for sure also. Mayuri, I think, might go up there. Mayuri might honestly be a lock. I don't know if this is controversial, but I think he's more of a lock than Kyoraku, to be honest. Kira, definitely not. Ikaku is an interesting one. Ikaku, though, I feel like this is the guy that's most likely to make it who is not a captain. And I think he would actually make it over some captains like Ukitake, right? Yumichika will make it if Ikaku does. History says no. Yumichika is not in Dark Souls and Ikaku is. So yeah, not mandatory. There is precedence. Let's put him up there and see if anyone removes him. Hiyori. We don't have any visors yet. I don't think they skipped the visored arc. And if they don't skip the visored arc, Hiyori is making it, and so you're not. You might be going down there. You are definitely going down here. I mean, right now, this guy is super important, but back then, he didn't even fight. You're definitely down here as well. Okay, so Lieutenant's done. Hiyori she's not the most important visored, but she's the one that was playable the more often in most games. Of course, we need Shinji. I'm thinking of Shinji too, but Shinji is not in this category yet. He's in the 2 games category. We can pull him out right now. Obviously, the 2 visors that could make it. Do we think the 2 of them make it over Kyoraku? Because I might be leaning yes, but I'll ask you. All right. I think it's pretty clear that you guys want only Shinji. So here's what that does. That does not replace Kyoraku at all, because we still have space for Shinji, so there's no point in replacing him. Hiyori, on the other hand, that means she goes down here. Oh, Hinamori is still here. Right, Hinamori was playable in 3 different game series. I don't know why, but apparently she's popular, so Gonna leave her there for now. We'll see if she survives until the end of this. Will Dangai Ichigo be a transformation or his own separate character with Mugetsu? Okay. This is a tough subject, but let's tackle it right now. Without really knowing how the game mechanics work, or if there's like customization, if you can change movesets ahead of time, it's hard to say whether or not there will be multiple versions of Ichigo. But let's say there's no customization. If you want to tell the story from the start of Bleach until the end of the Arrancar arc, I think you need at the very least 2 Ichigos. Imagine you pick the character, okay, you have the big sword, and then you can go Bankai, and let's say you can even have the mask, okay, let's say you have 3 transformations. Then we go into Hueco Mundo. How do you get the big hollow with the horns? You can't. You gotta have a second Ichigo. I think if the roster is as small as this, only 20 characters big, we're only getting 1 version of Ichigo. But if it is 35 slots, at the very least, I think we'll see a second version. And I'm gonna add it right now. And we could actually get a 3rd Ichigo. It's not crazy to think that like Ichigo could have 3 characters, but I think we're not getting a 3rd Ichigo, which is the Mugetsu you guys were talking about. I don't think this is happening unless the roster is gigantic like this. That's my take on it. Could also be an ultimate, yeah. An ultimate, a one-shot kill. That makes a lot more sense. Let's keep going, folks. Characters that were playable in 2 games. Yami. That's another Espada, who I think is very likely to be playable if the roster is at least this big. Next, Ururu. Yes, she has been playable in at least 2 Bleach game series, bro. But I don't think she's here unless the roster is gigantic. Tier. So that's another Espada. And you're starting to see why I don't think all the Espadas will make it if the roster is 35 characters. Stark, I think, is mandatory. I think Stark has to be in this, but not over Kyoraku. So I'm gonna have to put him down here and probably demote Hinamori. All right, this is getting cutthroat now. We're getting a little cutthroat here. If Nell makes it, we need to have Noitra. I think Yachiru is gonna get demoted here. It's getting tough, but yeah, I do think an Espada will take priority over Yachiru. Nemu, the Mayuri puppet. She is small roster material. Lupi. Now, Lupi was playable in 2 different games. I forgot who Lupi is. Having temporarily... Oh, she's the one that replaced Grimmjow and then just like... Oh, she was the 12th. Wait, it was later resurrected. My bad. But Lupi was playable in both Blade Battlers and Hit the Soul. So do not underestimate Lupi. Lupi small roster. Next, Baragon. Does Kon go or Shuhei? I think eventually both of them go. Also Kira. Yeah, no one likes Kira. All right, we'll do Kira. Final character that was playable in 2 game series, Yumichika. I don't think Yumichika has the same power as Ikaku, but is directly below him. I would say he's definitely above Shuhei. And with that, folks, we have gone through the characters that have been present in the 4 game series, in 3 game series, and 2 game series. So all that we have left is the leftovers. For Heat the Soul, we got Tessai. Yeah, the guy from the shop. Maybe if this is gigantic, bro. And that's it. That's the only way you make it. Cialaporo, I think he's less important of an Espada than any other Espada here. So I couldn't replace him with any other one. The one character I can kind of replace him with is Kon. But like, you replace Kon, you're basically saying this game is not fun. This game has no space for joke characters, bro. Only serious characters. I'm gonna leave this in your hands. Does this Espada replace Kon? If he does not replace Kon, I'm telling you right now, he goes down there. But you're saying you don't want Kon. Okay, let's see if you want Paragon. I could be persuaded. No means no. And we have our first Espada in the 65 roster. That means this guy does not make it unless the roster is 65 characters. Next, more Hit the Soul characters. Sojiro. Yeah, many of you don't even know who this is. He was playable in Hit the Soul, and that's the only reason he's here. He's getting deleted frame 1. Senna. Also, like Hit the Soul exclusive. Hit the Soul had some hot picks, let me tell you. Ryuken, Ishida's father. Also, like, only if this is massive. Rojuro. So Rojuro is now, in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, he's I think he's a captain or a lieutenant, not sure. But he's a part of the Visored crew. That said, we're already struggling to keep Hiyori in here. So every other Visor is gonna go here. Except for one. We'll talk about him when we get there. But there's one that might actually break it. Nanao-chan. Okay, your captain is up there. But I don't think you're making it, Nanao-chan. Nanao-chan, go down here. A lot of waifus down here, just saying. Muramasa. Wait, why is Muramasa here? Oh, Hit the Soul. No, okay, we're not putting Muramasa. Muramasa is a Zanpakuto spirit from that filler arc where Zanpakuto became characters and revolted. And that's why Hit the Soul put him there. Mashiro, maybe. At this point, we're just filling these spots down here, right? Love. That's another Visored, but another Visored that is not gonna make it. I don't think he has it over Hiyori. Lisa. Also, Down there. Oh, another visor. We're getting a lot of visors down here. Gantenbeine. I forgot this guy. Oh, he's in... The 107th Arrancar? Oh, he's the guy that fought. Oh, he's the guy that fought Chad. You're a goddamn jobber. But you weren't hit the soul, and that's why you're here. Dordoni. I think Dordoni is another jobber, right? I'm forgetting a lot of Espada names. Not Espada, Arrancar. 103rd. Reveals himself to Ichigo. And then what? And then, oh, Ichigo comes on his face? I don't remember that. These jobbers are all getting deleted as soon as I need space. These jobbers are not making it, bro. Oh, yeah. Hit the Soul also had this character. Dark Rukia. I think that's from the movie. Siruchi. Oh, this is a cool character. Ion is kind of a cool character. I would love to see Ion. Aroniero. That, I believe, is the 10th Espada, right? So I don't think this Espada... Are you gonna say like over Barigan? I don't think we are, right? I think we're pretty safe here. No, this is the 10th Espada. Aroniero is actually higher. And that is it for Heat the Soul. Just kidding. Just kidding. I left the best two characters for last. First up, Nell. And we got Kensei, baby. Okay. Kensei is really cool right now. I think Kensei the Visored was also a cool character, but I don't know if he overtakes anyone on this roster. He might have to go down there to big roster only. Nell, I really want to put her on the 35 roster. I really think she can make it. And I think there are a few characters that I'm willing to part with. Yeah, okay, we can make this switch. It's pretty easy. Okay, Yumichika out, Nell in. I think this is not terrible. And I think we should remove Khan. I think we should remove Kon. Yumichika survives. Yumichika actually survives this. Just swapped places for some reason. Moving on to Dark Souls. We have a lot of characters exclusive to Dark Souls because Dark Souls, one of my favorite rosters in a Bleach game of all time. They go absolutely crazy. Shiba, bro. Shiba has to make it. Maybe even as a 35 character roster. I'm not going to put him up here because you guys will riot, but Shiba is very, very likely. Next, Ririn. Okay, maybe not. She's, we have Gon as the joke character. Next character from Dark Souls. And this is how you know this roster is absolutely wild. Menos Grande. You could play as the giant hollow, bro. You could just do it. I don't think that's for this game, though. Kukaku. Such a cool character. Such a cool character. I'm going to put her down here. I hope she makes it in the end, but she might get cut. Hanataro. Oh my god, we found the Murata of this game. Geitashi. This is basically generic Soul Society soldier. Yeah, he's not making it. Someone said Dawn in chat. I heard you. I think Dawn has a bigger chance of making it than these are ranked jobbers, bro. Dordoni, see you later. Bonnie. Yes. Bonnie the boar. Dark Souls is so good, bro. Tatsuki. She's Ichigo's classmate from school. I don't think she makes it either. Finally, Soul Resurrection. We've actually already done all the Soul Resurrection characters in this roster except for one. Every single Soul Resurrection character has been playable in at least 2 games that I looked into. Except for one, Kokuto. He's a movie character. I'm not adding movie characters, so pass. And that brings us to the final folder, folks. Extra characters that I put in here that I think might have a shot or are at least in the conversation. First up, Zenosuke. Zenosuke. How could you forget the Soul Reaper that protects Karakura Town? If it wasn't for him. Off he goes. Actually, just to please you, Sojiro. Hitsuga's friend. There you go. The jobber can go later. How about another Zangetsu? I don't know. I don't think this one makes it. I think he's in the conversation for like bigger roster because we have this Zangetsu, this manifestation. This is mostly just a cool character with a cool narrative and everything. Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think I'll add him. Next up, Tetsuzaimon. All right, this guy actually shows up. He has a decent amount of screen time. I think he has a chance, if this roster is gigantic, a bigger chance than the jobber that Chad defeated. Next, I think this would be a cool character to add, Rootborn, but I don't think I have the space for him. He's just a spammer. You're right, I don't have Unohana. Why don't I have Unohana? I don't have Unohana because she wasn't playable anywhere. Whoa. She's just not playable, bro. She's not playable in anything. I guess we know why, right? Because, like, she doesn't fight until 1000-Year Blood War Arc. Yeah, Unohana, very slow priority, but I think she's more likely than some characters down here. It is understandable why she wasn't playable until now, but I think we'll see Unohana before we see Senna, for instance. So let's have her replace Center right there. All right, next. Pesce! Now, I think joke characters are allowed, right? We have Kon right there. Pesce would be a great joke character too. He may even be a joke character together with another character, and that is Don Don Chaka. Now, if there are two in one character, I'm only adding one portrait, right? But you can assume the two of them are there. And if I'm replacing him with someone, might be Mashiro. Next, Lilynette. Now, you may remember her if I put her next to Stark, because these two are always together. Does she make it? I think she's like a priority Arrancar, if I'm being honest. After the Espada, obviously. Like, Lupi replaces Grimjo for a while. She might go, but I think before she goes, I think Ishida's father. I think he's got to go. Now, Kaien is mostly a story device, so maybe that's a good excuse to just delete him. Jirobo is a tough one. I don't know if I can add Jirobo to this list, but I don't know. I don't think I can do it. I think same thing is going to go for Jidambo, the gatekeeper. The first challenge Ichigo and team run into in Soul Society. Next, everyone's been talking about him, so let's talk about him. Kurosaki Ishin. He doesn't fight too much in these arcs. The question is he big enough to replace someone? I mean, he's a big enough character, but like as a fighter, as a playable character in the Bleach roster, this is tough. There's also this Visored. I don't think he needs to stay. I don't know if Love needs to stay either, but maybe that's a weaker argument. Shichi could probably go too. Oh, you want to take out Nanao-chan? I think you could make an argument for Nanao, for sure. Mayuri's partner might go too. She could. You're right. I'm gonna ask you guys. Who do you remove for Ishin? Shichi, Nanao seems to be what you guys are voting for. I'm very sorry about this. Turns out chat didn't like you. They like Ishin better. Next, Isane. Isane also, like, she has screen time, but she's the lieutenant under Unohana. And I thought, you should put the lieutenant in there, at least for conversation's sake. But I don't think she makes it. Ikumi, Ichigo's boss from work. I think she's also a very cool character, but alas, no space for her. I don't think there's anyone I would replace for her. Next, triple threat, Francesca, Emilu, and Cyan. These are the Tres Bestias, the three beasts. And together, they summon this beast. Ion has been playable in Heat the Soul. The three beasts have not. So I think having Ion already kind of represents the three characters. I only have two more characters. Two more characters. I don't have any others. This is it. First character, I think we can discard. It's Akon, the science guy. He works with Mayuri, but he mostly just stays in the lab. I thought, this guy has enough screen time. Maybe they make a moveset for him. But the thing is, I don't think there's anyone here that he would replace. So, out. And the final character, we might actually put him there. Chojiro. So the lieutenant of the first squadron. I think Chojiro has to make it over someone. Question is who? You're kicking out Zenosuke? Don't kick out Zenosuke. Give you four options. One is no one, so you don't think Chojiro makes it, the lieutenant of the first squad. But the other ones are Nemu, which is Mayuri's puppet, the Zenosuke, which is the Soul Reaper for Karakura Town, and Shiruchi, the 150 Spada, the Privaron Spada. Yeah. Oh, you guys hate fun, but off you go. And in comes Chojiro. All right, I think that's our roster. And there you have it. These are the characters if we get a small 20-character roster. These are the characters if we get 35. And these are the characters if we get 65. Of course, these are all predictions right now, and most of them are a total guess. But if you want to be a part of the conversation and compare predictions, I think you got to do it right now before we know anything else. And if this is wrong, we can always just blame my chat. That's going to do it for today. But if you want to know everything that we know about this Bleach game so far, you can watch this video right here. Thank you for watching. Bye!